Hey, good evening, good afternoon, good wherever you are. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. Hope you can hear me well. I'm going to be doing this from back here and all that other stuff. Hope everything is good, and I hope everybody is having a great New Year's Eve. So, I'm going to be taking questions as always in the chat. And yeah, seems like we've already got a few people. First question, need to go to bed. We'll leave this question. What do you make of comic event storylines? Are comic publishers using them too much these days? I think they are. I definitely, in fact, do think that they are. I think that they are slowly and surely oversaturating the market with these grandiose, big, oh, this event's going to change the Marvel Universe forever. This event is this huge thing. Like, the Marvel Universe will never be the same. I think that's the type of stuff that's really starting to get a bit overdone and a bit annoying, and fans are starting to respond to it, and I think fans are starting to get tired of it. Me and Riley, we went off on Civil War 2 probably for about 10 minutes on last week's Momney Bros live stream, and we're pretty much in the same boat. We've just about had it. So I definitely think that it's at a point where the general fans are like, yeah, we're done with these events. Come on, just give us a little bit of time. Marvel, give us a little bit of time before you drag us into the Inhumans before it's the what's its fucks, or, the Inhumans versus the Mole Men or something dumb like that. Give us some time. Dun, dun, dun. To follow on Hydra 66, should publishers go back to simpler editorial lines like Marvel in the 60s or Valiant right now? That's a good point, especially right now since I'm jumping into the Valiant hype train right now. I'm really getting seriously into Valiant. I picked up a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm considering doing a Valiant weekly show. Valiant to me right now is doing it right, because I've been doing a lot of research on the company as a whole and what they do and how they do their editorial and how they do their publishing. They have one event a year, and if it ties in, great. If you read the tie-ins, great. If not, you can read the event book and you will be perfectly fine. And it seems like they are doing it right, because at the most, they only have about 9 books on the stands at once. At least that's what I've read. Valiant only has about 9 books on the stands, and it's easier. It's just easier to manage a universe that way. It's easier for fans to actually get into the universe that way. So I personally think they are doing it the right way. Okay, time to say some highs. Eddie, how's it going? Noah, how are you? Jax, I'm good, man. How's everything? Trying to say some highs, things like that. Also, I want to do a huge shout out right now. Thank you so much for those right now, but the internet is running a bit slow, so you can never trust the internet these days. Am I following the current Green Lantern run? What do I think? Yes, I am. Really good stuff. I think that post Jeff Johns, this is the best Green Lantern's been in years. Let's see. Got Bloodshot Reborn. Okay, that's cool. Hope you had a good New Year. What other manga are you reading next? Right now, I'm gonna make my way. I'm starting Naruto. That's been a really popular one that everybody's like, yeah, you should read Naruto. So I'm starting that. Are Star Wars comics worth reading? The new Star Wars stuff, I've only read Darth Vader, and I thought that was really good. Hey HC, I'm really interested in Bone by Jeff Smith. Is it as really good as most people say? Also, color or black and white in one volume edition? I had the black and white one volume edition. The paper is extremely thin, but Bone was originally published in black and white. So there are purists out there that say the black and white edition of Bone is the way to go. Now, I have seen scans of the colored edition, and they look gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. My advice is, if you have the money, dude, swing for the fences and get the colored versions. They are just fantastic. They're beautiful little collections. All right. So I want to do a shout out to Brian Wahoff, who entered into my Patreon, Josh Reed, who re-submitted Patreon, Brandon Robinson, who upgraded his Patreon, Ravi, who pledged to Patreon, And yeah, let's see who else we got. Gotta do the shout outs, guys. Eric Stouffer, once again, you pledged the most that somebody's pledged to Patreon. And of course, the most recent pledge, Matt Miranda. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for pledging to my Patreon. It's what keeps this channel going. It is what helps me be able to do what I do. It's always appreciated. Thank you so much. Have I read Monster? No, I have not. I had the premium collections. I sold them off, though. The perfect editions. I sold them off because I needed the money. So I don't have Monster anymore. Man, you guys are just firing questions. Really good conversations today. Okay, let's see. Just got the new X-Men Omnibus by Grant Morrison, but some idiot spoiled it for me. Zorn, can I still enjoy it? You know what? You can. And I'll say why. I had some idiot spoil the reveal for Zorn for me, and I still really enjoyed it. I really did. I think just because you know what and who and all that stuff and what Zorn does, it will not ruin Grant Morrison's new X-Men for you. It's still a great, fun read, and I still say it's one of the best X-Men runs that have ever been published. Favorite Valiant character is Exo Manowar. I just started reading today, in fact, and I read the first volume of Harbinger, and I'm hooked. Like, I'm absolutely hooked. I cannot wait to read more Valiant, man. Oh my gosh. Okay. Like, hey, HC, have you read Starman by James Robinson? You know what? This is going to be one of those things that I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for. I tried reading Starman by James Robinson, and it did nothing for me. Could not make it through the first hardcover. I don't know why. I really don't. I mean, I've heard it's incredible. It's amazing. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. I just couldn't get through it. It did almost nothing for me. I don't know what the deal is. I I don't know. I really don't know. I just couldn't get through it, man. It's one of those books where you're not gonna like everything. You're not gonna like everything that's a classic either. And it was one of those where it did nothing for me. Shino Comics. Hey man, Happy New Year. Have you been following Lemire's Old Man Logan? Is it any good? Any idea how long is it going to run for? I have not been following Old Man Logan by Lemire, but I am planning to I'm planning to pick that up within the next few weeks. I cannot wait to read it. I've heard really good things about it. Yours is Ninjak. Yeah, I started Bloodshot today, and it was good. It was good, but it wasn't as good as Harbinger for me. What are some most evil characters you have seen in comics? Man, I've read some really horrible bastards. Her Star is definitely one of them. Like, oof, really just a terrible bastard. The friend in 20th Century Boys is a real asshole, but he is justified in certain ways. As you read Valiant, can you do some videos? Hard to know what in the universe connects, doesn't, in order to read. And actually, funny that you mentioned it. I'm going to make the announcement here, but my plan, it's not set in stone, but my plan is to do a new weekly show on one trade or hardcover of Valiant every single week. And I've already got the name written down. I'm not going to post it up for fear that people are going to cop it and then try to steal it or anything like that. But that's the plan right now, is that I'm going to be doing one Valiant Trader hardcover a week. Is the hype really real? Know nothing about Valiant the universe. I read Harbinger today, and I was absolutely, I really dug it. I really dug the first. I was like, wow, okay, so this is what you guys were talking about. Have you read Bloodshot Reborn? No, I just read Bloodshot, the first volume. Guys, I'm just jumping into Valiant. Like, yesterday was the first time I read a Valiant book. That was the Harbinger series. It was the first time. I think I'm gonna get them Patreons. Need more live streams. Well, hey, if that's what you want, man. Me and Jess do a weekly comic book show. Me and Jess do a weekly news show every single week that we talk about comic news. Not, and I should probably clarify this. We talk about comic book news, like comic book things, not like news that's going on around the world or anything like that. It's just comic book stuff. Like this week, we talked about the Alien trailer. That was fun. We talked about Princess Leia dying. That was a good. It was a good topic. We went on for like a good hour almost. If superpowers were real, how long do you think it'd be until humans would destroy each other? Probably about 2 months. It would be great at first, but then human error, human pride would just get in the way so quickly that instantly people would just go to shit. I personally think. Me, okay. Uh, I'm a, and this is something my fiance gets on me a lot about. I'm a realist where I don't expect a lot of the best from a lot of people. I think people are inherently good, but they're taught good and bad and all that other stuff. But I think for the most part, a person is good. But when you get a group of people together, that's when things start to really fall apart, because then you have differing opinions, and you have people, they argue about faith, religion, and things like that. And that's great. It's great to have those things. It's great to be able to do those things. But at the same time, that's where the divide happens. That's where wars happen, things like that. So if people had superpowers, I think 3 months, and then people would just like lose their shit. Have you got Archer and Armstrong from Valiant? Because it's amazing. Yes, in fact, I have it on order. Big shout out to Eric Stouffer, who actually found Archer and Armstrong, the hardcover deluxe edition, which is massively out of print, and he's sending it to me through the mail. Awesome dude. Can't believe he's doing it, and man, I'm really hyped to read that. What Valiant titles did you buy? Man, you guys are really firing off with Valiant today. Okay, so I bought Divinity. I bought Dr. Mirage Volume 1. I bought Bloodshot Volume 1. I bought, and these are all trades. Harbinger Volume 1. Those are pretty much the ones that I have right now. I know I'm forgetting something else. But right now, I have the Quantum and Woody Deluxe Edition that's in the mail. It's on the way right now. I have Bloodshot hardcover in the mail. I have Exo Man of War Volume 1 in the mail. And I have Archer and Armstrong hardcover deluxe edition in the mail. So I'm full tilt running into the Valiant universe. Did I watch last night's episode of Sherlock? I have not. You know what? I haven't seen Sherlock at all. I've heard great things, but I've also heard last night's episode was a total mess, that it wasn't that strong. Have I read Sandman Overture? I have not actually read Sandman Overture. I have it. It's one of those things where I really have to sit down and really have to read it. Dun, 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 dun. Have you seen Westworld? If so, what are my thoughts? And Cameron Flynn said, big fan, the way, love your channel. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Have I seen Westworld? I'm up to episode 8, I believe, of Westworld. I'm up to the big reveal with Bernard, where you find out what Bernard is and what Bernard is doing, and it's just like, oh my gosh, of course, it's like right in front of you. Like, it's not... Going into it, you kind of expect something like that to happen. You're like, well, of course, one of these guys is actually this, and he's actually, doing this. It's something that I was like, it has to happen. It's kind of a storytelling trope, but how they set it up and how they executed it and how they really made you feel for the character of Bernard was incredibly well done. I thought that was one of the high points of what I've seen so far. Do you think they will make an Amazing Spider-Man Omnibus Volume 4? I think it's a matter of time. I mean, just look how many hardcovers, trade paperbacks, omnibuses, and stuff like that we're getting next year of just Spider-Man alone. They got the movie rights back technically to them. Then that's the way to go. And they're gonna put out more content of it, especially if it sells, and we know it will sell because Spider-Man sells. I feel really guilty when I spend like between $100 and $200 on books, even if I had a good chunk of expendable income. How do you deal with this, HC? Oh man, I'm pretty terrible at it. I'm not gonna lie. I have my faults, and mostly I think it stems from the fact that I have really horrible anxiety. I have really terrible depression, and I have my own mental issues that I work with from childhood and all that other stuff. And I've always found solace in comics, and it's something that it's a gift and a curse at the same time because I do spend a lot of money on these things. The money that could go elsewhere. But at the same time, it's kind of a thing where it's my own escape from like all the shit that's going on in the world. And in a way, it helps me cope. That's the best way I can explain it. It helps me cope with my insecurities, with my anxiety, with my depression, and things like that. Which I could write a laundry list of all the problems I've got. Do you think comic shops will ever go out of business? Seems like there's much better deals online. Um, that's a really tough question. That's honestly that's a really hard question because um there are better deals online, but there's always going to be the Wednesday readers. There's always going to be the guys that they're going to go out and they want a floppy. They want that really good experience of just holding something in your hands, and they're not going to want to wait. They're not going to want to wait 5, 6, 7 months and risk getting a story spoiled for them. They're going to want to read it that day. In that sense, I don't think that we have anything to worry about recently, but I do think we're heading down the path where all media will be digital. And I'm not talking about just books or comics, right? I'm talking about movies, music. We're already heading down that path. Me especially. All my video games at this point are pretty much digital. It's just easier for me. I pre-order it or whatever. I buy it on digital. It's downloading while I'm at work. I come home and it's already installed. I don't have to worry about it. So I think that's where we're heading. As far as comic book stores, there's always going to be that audience. There's always going to be that audience that's going to sit down. They're going to want a floppy. They're going to want the nice, hardcover edition, and they're going to want to go to a store every Wednesday. There is that audience. Aren't you going to miss US if you move to Norway, and why Norway? The benefits to moving to Norway are fantastic. And will I miss the US? Not really. I've lived here all my life. I want to try something different. Okay. Do I have a favorite Batman title? Black Mirror is up there. I fucking love Scott Snyder's Black Mirror. See, we have Noah Crowley, who's in the chat right now. He has no pleasure. Oh, not Noah Crowley. Whoop, read it wrong. Hillel. I get no pleasure out of reading digital comics. There's always going to be people like that. There are people that they get absolutely no pressure. Pressure. Wow, they get absolutely nothing out of reading digital. Um, do you think you're not a big fan of Deadpool, Amir? If I don't like Deadpool, will the Posehn Omnibus change my mind? Chances are it won't, because it is Deadpool. For better or worse, it's the character of Deadpool. So, my advice to you, I'm not sure if you have the Marvel Unlimited app, but for like $12, you could read a huge chunk of that run on the Marvel Unlimited app. And it would be a lot cheaper than buying the omnibus and then going, oh crap, this isn't good. This isn't for me. I just don't like it. Do you play Overwatch? If not, stop it. I do play Overwatch. I love Overwatch. Roadhog is my boy. Yeah, it would be very harsh comic-wise to get stuff out there, but that is what it is. Yeah. Do I have a favorite Batman title? I already answered that. Do I need to read New X-Men before Uncanny X-Force? I have the first Ultimate Collection of both. You don't. You don't. I didn't read New X-Men until after I read Uncanny X-Force, and that's my dog. Um, but New X-Men is a great primer for the events that are going on in Uncanny X-Force. Sorry about that, guys. Do I read Vagabond? No. Or there's books about favorite character comics in 2016. Favorite character comics in 2016. Hold on one second. Yeah. Favorite character comics in 2016. Man, that's kind of hard. Um. Hmm. Sorry, I had to break out the voice with the dog. Man, that's a really tough question. There was so many good things. I think Hellboy. Hellboy was probably one of my favorite character comics in 2016. Just like I've said in my top 10 video, seeing Big Red go off in the sunset or in the darkness as it would have because he's in hell was great. It was a story we've been waiting to see for a long time. Am I going to be doing any other non-Valiant reviews? Yeah, of course. This isn't just like a Valiant exclusive channel. The Valiant reviews will be something completely separate. Justin Darcy, how about the ending to Lazarus Book 2? I called it. That's what I'm going to say. I was just going to say, without ruining it here, I called it. I knew that's what was going on. From the first time we saw that Forever Carlisle, and I don't want to give it away, I was like, I know he's messing with us. And I know what he's doing here, and I'm calling it right now. It was a bit predictable, I'll say that. But man, I was just so happy. I opened that when you flip to the last page of the second hardcover of Lazarus, you're like, oh, and now I called it. I fucking called it. I knew it. Whedon's Astonishing X-Men is lit. Whedon's Astonishing X-Men is awesome. And John Cassidy is really good in that. Will I be getting the Absolute Wonder Woman next month? Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. Uncanny X-Force is better, though. I would say I liked Uncanny X-Force more than New X-Men. And I know a lot of Morrison fans out there, it's like, that's blasphemous. I'm like, no, it's not. I really dug Uncanny X-Force over New X-Men. Yeah, Uncanny X-Force is really good. Will the Valiant reviews be following a particular reading order or just the general picks? Just general picks. Just general picks. I'm not going to follow like the established canon, reading order or anything like that. I mean, once I start getting deeper and deeper into the universe, then I'll be reading it in that order. But, I just tend to randomize things. Are you going to review the second Saga hardcover when it's released? The cover is adorable. That's the plan. I'm all caught up with Saga, so it would just be a matter of me kind of looking at the book, seeing the binding, opening it, seeing the special features, things like that. Reading Invisibles by Morrison now, but can't really seem to get into it, unfortunately. Invisibles is Morrison. Invisibles is Morrison on high octane black tar, cocaine, heroin, or whatever. Invisibles is so out there, man. What I'm recommending is that you pick up a book. Shit, what's the name of the book? There's a book that's kind of a companion piece to the Invisibles book that is really helpful for people that are just starting to get into it and just starting to read it. And I can't remember it. Let me look up on the old Amazon. And I'll be able. Have you read the Sculptor by Scott McCloud? Possibly the biggest impact of. Wow, really? Huh. I need to sit down and read that then. Will I review more classic comics, 60s and 90s? Yeah. I mean, I don't tend to pigeonhole myself to just like one era, but I do tend to shy away. For some reason, I always tend to shy away from 90s comics. It's just an era that I really don't find much that I'm interested in. It's kind of weird. Morrison is better when he doesn't go full on crazy and experiment. I would agree with that actually. I think Morrison is better when he goes crazy, but he's able to really pull it back and rein it in. One of the best things that I think he's ever written is his Batman and Robin run, which is brilliant. It's absolutely fun, and it's pretty much just its own self-contained story. '90s was haunted by the Clone Saga. Yeah, oh god, the Clone Saga, that mess. I was this close a few weeks ago from pulling the trigger on the Clone Saga omnibus, but then I thought to myself, "What the hell? I'm not gonna read this." I'm looking for a comic by Henke. I'm looking for a comic that I can relate to, and I'm stuck between Day Tripper, Scott Pilgrim, and Blankets. Can I go wrong with any of these? Absolutely not. Especially if you're in your 20s. If you're in your like middle to late 20s, you'll get a lot more out of those books, especially Blankets and Scott Pilgrim. But Day Tripper is one of those books that it doesn't matter what age you are, you're gonna get something out of it. The exception of to the Morrison rule is All Star Superman. You're 20. 20 is not bad for Day Tripper, but because what age did I read Day Tripper? I read Day Tripper when I was like 22. It's not bad with Day Tripper, but I think Day Tripper gets better with your own age. As the older you get and the more you live life and your experiences, Day Tripper definitely gets better and it becomes more relatable. Out of those books, I'm gonna say go with Scott Pilgrim, then Blankets, then Day Tripper. Because Scott Pilgrim is right there. It's on that cusp of 2021. It's the perfect book for that age, I think. And then when you're a little bit older, you'll get a lot more out of Day Tripper. Like I'm only 27, so and I just went back and reread Day Tripper a few months ago, and I was like, oh my god, because you've experienced more life. I've been debating for so long whether or not to get Absolute Preacher. I've never read it before. However, I'm getting into. I know what I'm getting into. Is it worth the $70? Oh boy. You know what you're getting into? No, you don't. You don't know Preacher. You don't know Preacher. Until you've read Preacher, then you'll know Preacher. You don't know Preacher until you read it, man. Honestly. But if you're not easily offended, the Absolute Edition of Preacher is the most beautiful book that I own. Jay Grimes, you're 14 years old. What the hell are you doing reading Preacher? That might be a bit too young to read Preacher. But Preacher is definitely, it's not for everybody, but it happens to be my favorite series of all time, and the Absolute is the most beautiful edition that I own. So if you got the 70 bones and you want to plop it down on a beautiful looking book, go for it. Preacher is fun. Well, you look really good for being 27. Thanks. I don't drink much and I don't smoke, so. The biggest thing for me is my anxiety. That's what's killing me. What do you think of Preacher on AMC? I got about 7 episodes into it, and I was like, this isn't that good. It's okay. I started watching The Walking Dead since I was 9. Well, I can see that. I could actually. Well, I can't talk. Like I was 5 years old and I was watching Terminator. I was watching Alien. I have no room to talk. Gabe, are you really trying to pimp something out on my live stream? Are you really trying to make a sale on my live stream, man? Being a Preacher fan, they deviate quite a bit, man. They don't just deviate; they do a fucking left turn on the Preacher TV show. Like, it's kind of jarring with how much of a difference it is. Yeah, it's a pretty big difference. Like, it's they take a left turn and they don't from what I understand, next season should be closer to the comics because the ending of this season apparently ends with them about to go on the road trip, and I'm like, that's what they should have been doing like 3 episodes into this thing. Have you read Green Lantern Green Arrow by Denny O'Neil? I have not. Ooh, excuse me. What are some new goals for yourself? Your channel this year? Personal goal? Need to lose a little weight. Put on a few pounds. Definitely need to lose it. I started like 2 days ago, but that always happens during the winter, and I always end up cutting. Um, as far as goals for the channel, 10,000 subs. I thought I would hit it by this year. Didn't even come fucking close to 10,000. Well, no. Because the thing is that I came back in July, and since I've come back in July, my subs have doubled. So that's a really good sign. But I know for a fact, if I just keep going at the pace that I'm going, I will hit 10,000 subs by next year. As far as other content, definitely would. My ultimate goal for this channel is for me to be actually able to do this. Oh, bad omen. Yeah. No, it's the Google program that I use. I hate this fucking thing. Um, it's not my internet. I can tell you that much. I pay for the best internet that I can get from Bright House. But yeah, like I was saying, I plan one day to make this a full-time gig, you know. But that's years and years and years and years and years far down the line. So it's gonna be a minute, you know. It's gonna be a minute. For me to be able to do this full time, I would have to make recompense what I'm basically making as a teacher right now. That's not for a while. Other personal goals for the channel? Really hope to definitely jump into Valiant more. Definitely share about Valiant. What's Valiant? Wow. Oh yeah, I forget. People don't know. Okay, Valiant is the third largest comic book universe, and Valiant was a universe that started in the 90s. However, in the 90s, the Valiant universe tanked. What ended up happening was in 2012, 2013, these two college kids, they ended up buying the rights to Valiant, and they relaunched it. And since then, they have been putting out these kick-ass comics. Um, these kick-ass comics that from seemingly from like since like last week, it's really taken the Omnibus Collectors Facebook group by storm. Like everybody's snatching up Valiant comics like crazy. Everybody's picking up the deluxe editions like crazy. Is 100 Bullets any good? I've read the first like 4 or 5 trades of 100 Bullets, did nothing for me. I couldn't get into it. Try Denny O'Neil's Valiant. Hey Matt, how's everything, buddy? Ooh, an animated Deadly Class. Ooh, man, an animated Deadly Class would be really good. What's the best Valiant title? I don't know. I've only just started diving into it, but I can tell you Harbinger right now has been badass. I read the first I read the first trade of Harbinger this morning, and I went immediately and ordered the second one. And it's a great place to jump into the Valiant universe. You don't need to know anything about Valiant. You don't need to know any of the previous characters. You could jump into Harbinger. It was literally one of the first books that they published when they rebooted Valiant in like 2013. It's great. Oh, so good. It's basically like their version of the X-Men. I'm looking into Valiant. Everybody's looking into Valiant right now. Have you read Scooby-Doo Apocalypse by DC? No, I haven't. Do you read digital at all? Yeah, I don't read my singles in floppy anymore. I read them all in digital at this point. If you do, did you pick up anything during Comixology's holiday sales? I did not. Speaking of Deadly Class, is it any good? I bought the hardcover from InStock Trades and I'm waiting for it to arrive. I did a review of it, dude. I did a review of it a few months ago. Go check out that review. And yeah, it's really good. Really good. I think it's one of the best books that's being published right now in the stands. Have I read Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four? Absolutely. Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four should be mandatory reading for any comic book nerd or any Fantastic Four nerd. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Don't need to know anything else about Fantastic Four. Don't need to know anything about the universe, although it does help. It helps a lot. But Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four is astounding. It's so good. Daredevil Volume 1 Omnibus by Stan Lee comes out in February. Then I'm going to have to buy it because Daredevil's my boy. When are they going to try to finish the Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibus Volume 2 through 4 to fill in the gap? I have no clue. I have no clue. Hey, don't ruin anything for Deadly Class. I'm waiting for the hardcovers. All right. Once again, Google is failing me. Maybe it's because I'm using Safari instead of Chrome. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. I'm just going to use Chrome next time. Yeah, I've heard that the ending of Volume 4 for Deadly Class is like, oh my gosh. It's like incredible. Have I read Hawkworld by Timothy Truman? No, I have not. I've read the Stan Lee Doctor Strange omnibus. I want to read more. What should I read from Doctor Strange? Ooh, Jason Aaron's Doctor Strange. You should absolutely read Jason Aaron's Doctor Strange. Really good run. It's the most recent run on Doctor Strange, so it's readily accessible. Brian K. Vaughan's and Marcos Martin's Doctor Strange. The Oath is incredible. It's great. It's a fun read all the way through. There's going to be another Doctor Strange omnibus. I think it's called Doctor Strange the Sorcerer Supreme that's coming out in a few months. I recommend you check that out as well. The Oath is incredible. Hey, Nick. The Oath is ridiculously good. Like it's so damn good. Have you read Sleeper by Brubaker? I've read 3/4 of the omnibus, and it's fantastic, but interesting compared to his modern stuff. Yes, I've read Sleeper. I've read the entirety of it. Sleeper has one of those endings that is like, fuck. It's like, holy shit. Some of the where they leave the main character in Sleeper, it's just, it left me with my jaw on the floor. I was like, God damn, that is kind of fucked up. Any buyer's remorse from 2016? Not really. I'm pretty choosy. Here, I'm pretty choosy with my books. Like to this day, I think I've only given one book, and I've been doing this for about 3 years, and I've only given one book a pass. On my rating scale of like pass, borrow, buy, perfect, that whole thing. I think I've only given one book a pass, and that was the Spider-Verse hardcover because that thing was a mess. Um, I'm very choosy with my books, mainly because I don't have money to spend. I don't have, I can't go out and be spending money on these trash books just because of reviews, you know? Buyer's Remorse 2017, all that Valiant. Nick, you know you're going to jump on the hype train. All aboard the Valiant train, buddy. But yeah, I can't do it. I can't go out and be spending, always 10, 12 bucks on like Red Hood and the Outlaws and Scott Lobdell comics and shit like that. I just can't. I can't afford it. Now, I will say this once, and I know it's going to happen soon, once we hit the $150 mark on Patreon, then that's when things are going to get interesting because once we hit that, that's when you guys start recommending books, and I have to review at least one of those recommendations a month. So that's when the floodgates start opening up, and I have to review some really shitty stuff. You should read One Piece from Manga Mondays. One Piece is long, dude. Edward Bigger is one of the best comic writers, along with Hickman and Remender. I agree with that. Nick has Valiant. He just reads them digitally. Nick, don't lie. You have Valiant. Come on. I'll do you one better. Nick, I'm pretty sure, has like 3 issues of 90s Bloodshot with a holographic cover on it. He's still waiting for them to pay out. Don't worry. They'll pay for your college one day, buddy. Da, 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 da. Get the out of print Valiant books, Nick. All the cool kids are doing it. It's true. All the cool kids are doing it. Martian Manhunter had a great 12 issue. I've heard good things about that run. I've heard really good things about that Martian Manhunter run. That it was only like 12 issues before the new 52 ended, and I've heard it was really good. One Piece is amazing. Oh god, the things I would do to pay for school. Oh, Nick, wait till those student loans come hitting you, man. Oh god. Oof. What makes the Goon so good? I saw that you have all the library editions. I still haven't read my library editions. The Goon is just fun, man. It's just really fun. It's a fun horror comic that if you are a fan of like Tucker and Dale versus Evil or Cabin in the Woods or strange, really out there horror comedies, The Goon is right up your alley. I mean, it does get a bit immature at times and it gets a little bit too lowbrow for my taste, but it's still a fun read. In fact, I want to go through and reread the entire Goon series again. 4 out of print Valiant books. Archer Book 1, I have it. I'm getting it. Rye Deluxe, which is the most recent, and it's still very readily available. Bloodshot Deluxe, I've got it on order. Book of Death Deluxe, I got that on order as well. Martian Manhunter needs a nice 40 or 50 issue run. I love that character. I agree. I really want to see somebody just do something really cool with Martian Manhunter. I mean, he's a really badass character in his own right, but nobody really does anything with him. It's kind of sad. Maybe it has to do with the fact that he could be taken down with a book of matches. I don't know. I love the character. I think he's awesome. But I think my love also for the character stems from the Justice League cartoon growing up because he was pretty cool in that. Tom King on Martian Manhunter will be interesting. Morrison on Martian Manhunter. Oh God. Oh, the drugs. That is a good call. Tom King on Martian Manhunter is a really good call, especially from what I've heard what he did with Vision this past year. Ugh, that is a real good call, man. Damn, that is really good. I could actually see that now, to be honest. Huh. I know Vision is good. I'm waiting for them to put out a hardcover edition. I really am about to just cave in and read the trades. I really am. So I just started Hellboy by getting the first library edition. I love it. Welcome to the Hellboy universe. A lot of your money's going to be gone in a few weeks. Vision all other Tom King stuff. I said it. Really? Better than Sheriff of Babylon and Omega Men. Wow. Tom King on everything is a good call. Yeah, that is a good call actually. Let's have Tom King do everything, you know? Let's bring him back, you know. Let's let him do all of Wildstorm, the Wildstorm reboot. How do you feel about a live action Deadly Class TV show? I'm all for it. I think that's going to be badass. Vision is on the Marvel Unlimited app. Oh shit, I might actually just sign up for the Marvel Unlimited app just to read Vision. I ordered Sheriff of Babylon Volume 1 today. Can't wait. Oh man, you're in for a treat. Oh, you are in for a treat, pal. Sheriff of Babylon is so good. Are the library editions of Hellboy going out of print? I don't know. Yeah, that's what I figured because the Marvel Unlimited app is 6 months behind. And I don't think it's been 6 months since Vision ended. I think it's only been like 3 or 4. I don't know about the library editions going out of print, but the library editions have gone out of print. Each one of those has gone out of print like 4 or 5 times, and Dark Horse just brings them back. Dark Horse is really good about keeping things in stock. And once something goes out of print, it's usually not long, especially if it's like a library edition, like a Fear Agent or Hellboy. They're usually pretty good about reprinting that stuff. Those two, I didn't see too many movies this year. Can you guys hear me? Okay, so my favorite movie this year is Suicide Squad. Joking. I fucking hated Suicide Squad. I think it was a steaming car wreck. Hated that movie. Yeah, this Google program, man. I really think I'm gonna move this whole thing over to Twitch. Yeah, the Suicide Squad to me was probably the least favorite movie. That I sat through that bullshit not once but twice. God, I fucking hated that movie. I love Felipe. That man will defend somehow he will defend that damn movie till he dies. And he bless his heart cuz he defends it so vehemently, so with passion that you're just like, man, I really want to believe just as much as you do that this is a good movie, but I'm sorry, I don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't. Yeah, he believes it. And the thing is, he believes it and he believes it passionately, just like with everything in his heart. And I'm like, you know what? That is awesome. I'm happy that you have that much passion for such a shitty movie. And that of course, that being my opinion, but you know, I wish I had that much passion. But then again, I like Fast and Furious movies, so I really can't talk because they're fucking terrible. Okay, you know what Suicide Squad should have been? Suicide Squad should have been what Rogue One was. Suicide Squad should have been, oh shit, like at the end of Rogue One, you really feel for these characters. These characters are bottom of the barrel, really nobody gives a damn about them in the greater universe. but they're sacrificing themselves for a greater good, for a greater thing. That's what Suicide Squad should have been. And they should have been able to build that camaraderie and that really just that feeling of like, wow, these people believe in each other. These guys are brothers and sisters. Oh, that scene killed me. KS2O. Wasn't there supposed to be a Y the Last Man adaptation for TV? As far as I know, it's still being worked on and it's at FX, if I'm not mistaken. As long as you don't like Transformers, you're good. God, no. Holy shit, no. Transformers was terrible. And then you've got the Negro bots in the second one, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Really, Michael Bay? They can't read? They can't read. What kind of racist, backwards bullshit is that? I disagree. I think Rogue One was great. Is the Hawkeye run by Matt Fraction a good read? Yes, it is. Yes. I wasn't a fan of the Kate Bishop stuff. I thought that was not that interesting, and it dragged it down for me. But yeah, I thought it was a good solid run. Hey, big shout out to Jax PK. You just pledged the first level of the last level of Patreon. That's the $10 level, which pretty much gives you everything. It gives you the live stream, gives you that not the live stream, gives you the weekly news show. It gives you my book of the week segment. It gives you the weekly update. It gives you pretty much 4 or 5 extra videos a month from me. Oh my god. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it, Jax. And I don't know how many people are in here that watch the weekly poll or comic story or anything, but splooge! I think only like 4 or 5 of you will get that reference. Thanks, buddy. Really, it means a lot. Thank you so much, Jax. Wow. All right, guys. Update. We've hit $121. Thank you so much. That means a whew, incredible amount. Has anybody read Superior Foes of Spider-Man? Yes, Superior Foes of Spider-Man is awesome. Love Superior Foes of Spider-Man. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Nick. Thank you. We are now $29 away from you guys recommending whatever backwards hillbilly bullshit comic you guys want to recommend, and I have to review it. And guys, I am talking about oh, some of the worst stuff that you can recommend. Like 90s X-Force, Scott Lobdell, Rob Liefeld bullshit, and you recommend it, and I will have to do at least one review of it a month. Oh god, that's gonna kill me. I love the weekly poll. Those guys are freaking awesome. Yeah, Superior Foes of Spider-Man is so good. Oh my gosh. And you don't even, here's the thing, for Superior Foes of Spider-Man, you don't even need to know anything about Spider-Man or any of his villains or anything like that. You could sit down, you could read it, and you just go, holy crap, this is awesome. Superior Foes is so good. Civil War 3 by Scott Lobdell and Greg Land, make it happen. You shut your whore mouth. No. Review Greg Land stuff. You know, if we hit that mark, if we hit the $150 mark, it could happen. Oh shit, I just realized what I did. Oh, that's gonna be really rough. You're gonna see a lot of anger reviews. Do you think Saga will ever get a TV adaptation? No. I'm pretty sure Brian K. Vaughan has gone on record as saying that he specifically said um he specifically said that he designed it so that it would not be able to be adapted on TV. Are you still working on the podcast show with Riley? Yeah, dude, we do it every Thursday. We do it absolutely every Thursday. On my channel and on Riley's channel, what? Yeah, we've been doing it for a while. Would you guys ever do a live stream with the weekly poll? I would love to be on the weekly poll. Those guys are awesome. Who wouldn't want to be on the weekly poll? Those guys are great. They're hilarious and they put out great content. Would it ever happen? I don't think it would, but I don't think it will. My channel's way too small. Hey, I like Lightfield. I own original art. So you only own the torso up, right? I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I love you, Gabe. You know I love you, man. Review the Cross. Cross is fucked up. I bet Greg Lamb beats it to his own infused porn infused art. Yeah, Cross is fucked up, man. I've never read it, but I've heard some of the shit that's in there, and it's like, whatever happened to the Chew animated movie? What did happen with that? They had it going on for a while. They had Stephen Young from The Walking Dead. He was supposed to be a part of the Chew animated movie, and I don't think it went anywhere. If you make it to the $150 mark, could we get an Atlantis Attacks review? You know what? I could probably make it happen. How many subscribers are you hoping for by the end of 2017? 10 grand. 10,000. That's the goal right now. Suppose Oi. Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna have to find something better. Okay. So you got to think about it this way. I started out at this year. I took like there was a good chunk where I didn't do any content out this year. There was a good like uh what would you say, Nick? Like a good 6, 7 months that I didn't put out content? Because you were really like pushing for me to come back. Like you messaged me and everything, and then when I posted on the Omnibus group saying, "Hey, I'm really considering coming back. What would you guys think?" Like, and you were like, "Dude, just fucking come back. Like, put out content, put out something." You were really one of the guys that was pushing for me to come back, and I think it was you, Matt, and a few other people that were out there saying, "Dude, just put something fucking out there. Doesn't matter what it is. Film it on your phone." You said, somebody in the group said, "You know what? Will films on his phone. Will from Nerd Ventures," and I was like, "All right, well, let me try it." Because I didn't have a camera, I didn't have a setup going. So from there, I jumped back in, I would say about July. And since then, I had about, coming back in July, about 2,000 odd subs. Right now, I'm on the brink of having 7,000. So that's a really good jump in a few months' time, especially for a small channel like me. So that's really what slowed down my progress from hitting. I firmly believe that if I did not take a break, if I didn't take those 6, 7 months of not putting anything out, I would have definitely hit 10,000 this year, even more. Your favorite comic book YouTuber to watch or have inspired you to start making videos? Um, I've told this story before. What inspired me to start making videos was I was listening to a very popular podcast. I'm not going to give away what the podcast is, but every single episode of the podcast, they would just cram their God, I'm gonna use this term because I really don't have any other term to use, and I fucking hate this term. They would cram their SJW mindset down your throat with every single book you were reading. It was basically they got too fucking preachy, and I said, you know what? I'm tired of this podcast. I'm tired of shows like this. Let me put out some content. Let me start with this, and let me start doing it. So in essence, this channel was born out of me being fucking tired of listening to a podcast. I said, you know what? I'm done with this. And I can't even remember the podcast anymore. I really can't remember the name of it. Um, shit. What was the name of the podcast? I think one of the guys' name was like Steve or something like that on the podcast. I don't even remember. But it got to the point where I was listening to it and I just said, you know what, fuck this. This is just making me more mad. This is making me more mad than anything else. So I'm gonna start my own YouTube channel. And it sucked at first. TC? Nick, message me on Facebook and let me see if you're right. Because I can't remember the name of it. Oh yeah. Yeah. You're right. That was it. That was the podcast. That was the podcast that I was listening to that I was like, you know what? Fuck this. God, it got so preachy. It got preachy to the point where I just couldn't listen to it anymore. Because they would go on these tangents for like 40 minutes of just like, oh, this comic is like misogynistic because of this and all this stuff. I'm like, I don't, just read the fucking book. Don't preach to me. Was the book good or not? That's what I need to know. Sounds like they need some punk rock Jesus in their lives. What was there was another part to that question. Oh, my favorite comic YouTubers. My favorite comic YouTuber right now is my favorite comic book YouTuber right now is probably Joel Daly because Joel left. Yeah, like I was saying, Joel left Comic Book Cast, and he was the best thing about Comic Book Cast. And once he left Comic Book Cast, I just stopped listening to their content or stopped watching anything that they put out. And I think I know a lot of people actually that felt the same way. And I have a lot of respect for that guy to leave Comic Book Cast and to venture out on his own and to do his own thing. And that guy puts out a shit ton of content a week. I mean, we're talking about he puts out like two or three books a week. But he's also, if I'm not mistaken, he's also being sponsored by Comics Explained and Nerd Sync Productions or something like that. So, if I'm not mistaken, but I got a lot of love for that guy and what he does. He's an awesome dude. As far as my favorite YouTuber, I've answered this before. Boogie2988. Yeah, Boogie2988 is definitely one of those guys where I was like, wow. Like I've listened to his story and I've listened to his podcast. Real cool, down to earth guy. He seems like a guy you could have a beer with. Yeah, Joel's channel grew to 10,000 subs like really quick, but I think that also has to do with the fact that he's on the weekly poll. Man, he's friends with Comic Story and Comics Explained. He reaches a wider audience than I do, and that's fine. That's just how it is. That happens. And that's cool. Hmm. Oh, Variant, man, Variant is awesome. Love that dude. He's really cool. Boogie. All right, guys, I'm gonna be up for probably another 5-10 minutes. So if you got any more questions, get them in while you can. Am I a big fan of The Walking Dead? I'm more of a casual fan of The Walking Dead. Yeah, I'm more of a, yeah, I'll read it and I enjoy it. The deluxe edition channel is really well. Yeah, that guy's got some good stuff, man. Comic Pop. Sal cracks me up, man. All those guys on the weekly poll, they crack me up. Splooge. Fade Out or Velvet, and why? Haven't read Velvet, so I'm gonna go with Fade Out. Fade Out simply because it's an awesome look at 1940s LA, post World War II. Really brilliant series and a really brilliant murder mystery. Yeah, so gonna be on for about another 5 minutes. This show's gone on a little bit longer than I thought it would. Could you ask the weekly poll if you could go on once? I don't know. I mean, I'm not the type of person. I'm not gonna bother anybody. I'm not gonna be that fan that goes, "Hey, can you guys put me on the weekly poll, please, 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 please?" It's just not the type of person I am. If they ever find me and if they ever ask me, "Hey, do you want to be on the weekly poll?" I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, I want to be on the weekly poll." The hardcover is beautiful. The fade out hardcover is absolutely beautiful, man. Really, really good looking stuff. I love the fade out hardcover. And there's a lot of good content in the back of that thing. Why aren't I buying the Hickman Omnibus on Avengers? The reason I'm not buying the Hickman Avengers Omnibus is because I got the whole run already. I have it all in official hardcovers, and I have Infinity, so I really don't have any real reason to pick it up. But then again, I said the same thing. I said the same thing for Green Lantern, and I ended up buying the 3 omnibuses. I'll ask if I can go on. When they say yes, I will give you a shout out. Thanks, Nick. Nick should be on the weekly poll. Oh God, Nick should be on the weekly poll. That would be great. That would be really good. For those of you that are wondering, that Nick and me are starting a UFC podcast called Enter the Thunderdome. It should premiere tomorrow. I'm joking. I'm joking. We're not starting a UFC podcast. Do you know anything about the Jack Kirby Fourth World Omnibus? Are they worth it? I don't know anything about that. That would be more of a Jess Bragg question than me. Jess would probably know more about that than I would. Rousey got wrecked, by the way. I felt so bad. She needs to get rid of that sparring coach. No, 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 no. I would, Nick, but oh God, my schedule is ridiculous. Like I possibly can't add anything else. Yeah, her coach, man, her coach is garbage. I don't know why she's with him. You recommend, yeah, Black Widow by Mark Waid and Chris, the same Daredevil team. I want to get into it. I've heard it's good, but I've heard it's pretty much more of the same with Daredevil, which isn't a bad thing. Yeah, Nick, you're in law school. You have no time for that, dude. All right, but I am gonna go ahead and call this a night. Thank you so much, guys. I should have the first Valiant review up this week. I've got a name for it already. That's the plan. Is that every single week I'm going to be reviewing one Valiant book. It's going to be their hardcover or trade paperback, along with a regular review and along with the book of the week. That's Patreon. But basically a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm doing. I'm one of the busiest guys right now. It's driving me crazy. So I'm going to call it tonight, guys. It's been fun. You can find me, as always, on Facebook and Twitter. Those are going to be found in the description below. And thank you once again to Matt Miranda, to Jax for your Patreon subscriptions. They just came in today. Thanks to everybody who has donated in the past and who's donated in the past week. Thank you so much. Really means a lot. And if you have a few bucks you want to kick my way, maybe for the price of as small as a coffee, $4 or $5, you get some cool stuff. You get some exclusive content in my Patreon, and you get more of this stuff. So check it out. Found it in the description, patreon.com/hardcover reviews. Love you guys. Bye.